All right, everybody. Welcome to the Monday Night Swarm. This is actually a monthly meeting that we do. And typically we do the Swarm meeting the first Monday of the month. Unfortunately, this month they had the Surge the first Monday of the month, and then we had Super Saturday and all that. So just for the month of January, we decided to move it here to January 19th. And so we're going to meet tonight and just talk a little shop, man. It'll be good. And then we'll also meet again, the first Monday of February. So when we get to February and sort of how our team is set up, we have a larger team of around 4,000 coaches. And so we've got many leaders within that team building their own groups and doing that thing. And they're hosting calls as well. And so we decided, for the sake of all of you, to not do a weekly deal here because, too many calls is too many calls. But I do want to have sort of this once a month sit down, with all of you in the larger team and have a recording that we can give to the people who couldn't make it here live. And so I just wanted to welcome all of you guys. I see a lot of new faces as I'm looking around the Zoom. There's a lot of new faces. We got some coaches that have been doing fantastic things, over the course of the last few months. And we want to come together and celebrate that. Maybe you're wondering, I don't want to assume that all of you know who I am. Many of you do. Many of you have been around for a while, but maybe you're wondering, why am I the guy on this call talking? My name is Tommy Mygrant, and I've been a coach for 8 years. And it's been an incredible 8 years for me and for many of our coaches, and just the number of people that we've been able to help over the course of that time. And you guys are all part of our larger team that we run. That team is called Swarm. There's going to be other team names that you're part of. The team that we started back in April of 2008. So what is that? 7 years, right? 7 years. Back in April of 2008, we started a team, and it was just me. I didn't have a whole bunch of people in the team. I started with 0, just like all of you. We now have 4,000 coaches, and it's just been an incredible thing. I mean, I've been honored to make the top 10 a couple of times in the history. I've had some really great years doing this, and I've had some other years where I kind of struggled through it, and other months where I struggled through it. But I just want to, come together once a month and maybe share some collective wisdom with all of you and share some guidance with all of you. We'll get together, we'll talk about what's going on in the company, the most important things, events that are coming up. We'll also give some recognition to coaches who have been doing a great job. And then we always will cover a topic and I don't know if you've never heard me speak before. I do find it fair to warn you. Okay, I'm gonna warn you. I'm a high school football coach, and sometimes the football coach in me comes out, and I can get a little bit passionate. I can speak a little bit fast. So hopefully you have your notepads out, but you're gonna miss a lot as you're taking notes. There's a lot that you are gonna miss, and so I would encourage you to listen to the recording again if you think it's valuable stuff that you'll be able to use. Go back, listen to it at your own pace, write down the notes. I'll try to keep the pace a little bit slow so that you guys can understand, what's coming out. But all I can do is be me, just like all you can do is be you. That's all we can ever do, and continuously focus on making ourselves a better version of what we were today. And so with that said, let's talk about what's going on with the company. We just had Super Saturday. I went to the DC event. I was honored to speak for about 40 minutes to 500 coaches in DC, and it was absolutely awesome. I know that we had a lot of coaches from around the network. I was just going to mute that. We're good. A lot of coaches from around the network, and all of you guys were going to local events around the country. And it was great. And so a couple of the announcements that they made, and I just want to make sure that you guys are on board. These are 3 of the things that I think are pretty big deals. As you guys know, we do an annual sort of Success Club trip. This year we're going to Cancun, but next year we're taking the cruise on the Oasis of the Seas. They opened up the registration, I think, what was it, last Monday, a week ago, and within a handful of hours it was sold out, right? The way that they run the cruise is these trips is you have to sign up for it. If you didn't get on the actual sign-up list, then what you want to do is make sure you get on the wait list, okay? You put a cash deposit down, but you can earn money throughout the year by scoring Success Club points to pay for your trip, right? And you can earn $1,300, and if you make certain goals, you can Elite and Premier, you can earn extra bonus cash to spend on the cruise and all of that stuff. But the Oasis, I don't know if you've ever been in the boat. 4 years ago, we took a trip as a beach body on the Oasis. That boat it's the biggest cruise liner in the entire world, right? And so that cruise liner, and it's just awesome. It's like a floating city. And it's going to be full of 6,000 Beachbody enthusiasts, people who love fitness. We'll do live workouts with Sean T and Tony Horton and Autumn and Shalene, and everybody will be doing live workouts on the deck of the ship in the middle of the ocean. And it's just a really cool experience. I would encourage you, if you didn't get on the list, just go get on the wait list, because a lot of the people that got on the actual list won't end up making it, and they'll be calling people off of that wait list as the year goes on. So I would encourage you that if this is something that you're serious about doing, go ahead and get on that wait list for the cruise, and you can look up in your online office how to do that. The other thing is this Team Cup is coming up. If you've never been part of a Team Cup, for many of you, you've been around for a while, you know what Team Cup is. That's coming up this next month in February is a Team Cup month. And so right now we're gathering our teams, and I have not picked my personal team of 5 people, but we get in teams of 5 people. You can lead a team, or you can just join a team and find a leader that you want to partner up with and be on their team. But that is going to be the month of February, and it's really cool. I mean, I won this hat. You guys see this Beachbody hat right here? It says, you know, Coach on the side and Beachbody and all that. I won that in a Team Cup. And so it's really cool because, you know, if your team does a decent, if you guys make Success Club and things like that and hit certain point levels, you can earn, you know, Beachbody gear, Beachbody swag to wear. And I mean, I think I have a whole drawer full of Beachbody clothes that I got for free just because our Team Cup teams. And historically now, we've had a lot of great teams in Swarm that have finished in the top 10, top 50, you know, out of like, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 teams. And so I'm expecting that we're going to have that happen again. I don't know whose team is going to step up and who's going to go get a team of people who are ready to focus on 1 month. The point of Team Cup month is this. It's to get us in a group of 5 where we focus on doing the absolute best job that we can do for a 1 month period, right? A 1 month period to go out and help as many people as we can in the month of February. It's a great month to have it because people are still in that New Year's mode. They're still, you know, some of them that started resolutions haven't followed through with that, but they still want to lose the weight. They still want to get fit. There's a lot of people out there that have been thinking about coaching. It gives you a great reason to go approach people and just ask them, hey, is this something that you thought about doing? If so, now's a great time to get in. I'd love to get you in, right? So Team Cup month, make sure that you get on a team. But the biggest announcement the company made was Beachbody on Demand, right? And so if you've been in touch with the company, then you will know that, you know, Beachbody on Demand is it's a big thing. And I wanted to talk about this with you guys before because I know that, you know, there were a lot of coaches at the Super Saturday event I was at. Now, I don't think that I haven't heard a lot of people on our team talking like they're a little bit scared of you know, of the Beachbody on Demand. Like, how are we going to sell DVDs if we're streamlining everything? I actually think it's an amazing thing. You know, as time goes on, I mean, you think about Netflix and what that did to Blockbuster, right? You know, Blockbuster used to be, you know, you'd go into Blockbuster, you'd have to rent the DVD to watch a movie, and Netflix came in and started streamlining and pretty much put Blockbuster out of business. They are going to have a Team Beachbody challenge pack where they can get the club membership. So how it works is this. If anyone who has that quarterly club membership will get Beachbody on Demand. So here's a couple of things to think about. If somebody buys a workout video, you know, they pay that $120 one time and they get that workout video, but it only generates volume one time. It only generates commission one time. They only get one product. With the club membership, they pay that quarterly fee. So you're getting it's another residual product that people pay a quarterly fee for. And so you're going to get volume on a quarterly basis rather than just once. And they have an incentive to keep the club membership. Now, to me, it's a huge improvement and a huge reason why people should have that club membership, coaches and customers. And so I think it's going to be incredible. I think what we're going to see over time from the coaching side is that, you know, volumes are going to increase because we got more people creating residual products and residual volume and all that, and they're going to have a better experience. They can do their Beachbody workouts anywhere they go, as long as they have a smartphone, as long as they have a laptop, as long as they have a smart TV. They can open up their online service and streamline and just stream whatever workout they want to do that day, right? And so I think it's awesome. We're still going to sell DVDs, so a lot of the new programs aren't going to be part of that Beachbody on Demand thing yet. And as new programs are released, I think they're going to have to pay a fee to unlock those. I believe that's how it's going to go, right? So like when Insanity Max 30 is on there, For the basic fee of $40 a quarter, they're going to get, these 8 workout programs. But the new stuff, they're going to have to pay an additional, an additional amount of money in order to unlock those things. So I think it's going to be a great thing. I know that change is sometimes scary, but I can remember, and most of you guys don't remember this, but about 3 years ago, I've been around for quite a while. There was a time when we didn't have challenge packs and we didn't have challenge groups, okay? And we didn't have Shakeology, we didn't have any of that stuff. So anytime there's been change in this network, it's kind of been a little scary. It's taken a little bit of time to figure out. I'm sure this Beachbody On Demand thing is going to take a little bit of time to figure out as well, and that's okay. You can get your own preview of Beachbody On Demand. So it's not going to roll out to the public until March. But if you make Success Club in January, you will get access to the Beachbody On Demand in February. So a month before it goes public. That's a huge incentive. Here's why. Let me explain why. So if I'm you, and I'm already in Success Club for the month, and a big part of that is I want Beachbody On Demand a month before everyone else gets it. Not just so I could do the workouts, but because if I'm using it, I'm going to be talking about it. And the more, and when you're talking about it, that's going to build interest. Does that make sense with the people who are following you through social media and people that you talk to face to face? And so they're going to gain more interest in that. So Beachbody On Demand is coming. So those were the 3 things as far as events go. Danny Johnson is having an event. There's multiple people that do trainings outside of the network that aren't network specific. I personally plug into Danny Johnson. I know Eric Worre has his Go Pro series, and he's great too. But Danny's having an event in LA next month. I believe it's February 27th and 28th out in Los Angeles, California. Would love to, if some of you guys want to go and you're not quite sure where to go, just ask us and we'll lead you in the right direction with that. But she's having a First Steps to Success event at the end of next month out in Los Angeles. With that said, let's get into recognition. I do want to recognize, some people because we had a few coaches make Elite and Premier. But Tina and Joe Gonzalez, and I got to tell you, I've been around for 7 years. There's not too many couples who both the husband and the wife earned their way into what we call elite coach status, right? And Joe and Tina might be the first to both do it in the same year as they're independently working their own businesses. Does that make sense? And so, and I know, Joe ranked advanced to 5-star to make that happen. Tina did a great job all year, but they made the elite level, which is the highest level. There was only, I think, 199 coaches. So I want you to think about that. 200 coaches made elite. And I know what that takes. I've been elite, 3 or 4 times in my time as a coach. And so hats off to them, and not just to them, but their entire team of people, because they have, a lot of people who are passionate, who have a vision of helping others, but also have a vision for what it's going to do in their own life and the type of freedom that it can bring them. And so I want to hats off to them. And then Sarah Mahilo made Premier. And the only difference between Premier and Elite is to be Elite, you need to be a 5-star diamond coach. And to be Premier, you have to be a 2-star diamond coach. So it's just a rank thing. So she, Sarah had plenty of points to be Elite, but she had a lower rank. I think she's like 3-star. She just got to diamond in her second business center. And she did all of that while she was like 8-9 months pregnant. She just had a baby, and so, so super great job to all of you guys. Let's talk about Success Club for the month. Like I said, you want to be in Success Club, especially in January. You have a huge incentive because you get that Beachbody On Demand a month before everyone else. But in Success Club 5 already, now listen, I go by, some of you might not be in the Swarm Cave team page, okay? So I just want to clarify this. I go by a list of names in a document that's in the Swarm Cave that we started. So anytime you make Success Club, you or your people, if you want them read on the monthly meeting, we need you to update that because that's what I go by. There's no way I could see all 4,000 people. It doesn't go that deep in the back office. So if I don't read your name, but you are in Success Club, it's nothing personal. It's just that your name isn't on my list. Does that make sense? So in Success Club 5, we have Casey Pewitt, Joe Gonzalez, Greg Bird, Maria Amon, Angela Zapian, Tim Olson, and Danielle Barrera was at 8 points. And then in Success Club 10, I just hit 10 today. Heather Stetson, Sarah Mahilo, Tina Gonzalez, Liz Bellini is at 14 points already for the month, and Lindsay Cheatham, who actually just left her career as a nurse to do Beachbody full time. She's at 16 points for the month. And then at 20 points, Brett Bauer is at 21 points. And Brett, I know that I said this to you in the cave, but it's time for you to get to the diamond level, man. You've been crushing this thing on the retail side. It's time to start team building. And I know that you know that. And I know that you're going to do that. And then Tammy Glenn is at 22 points for the month of January. So hats off to all of them. So now that we're through all of that, the fun begins. All right. So this is where we start the topic, and it's about 9:20. So, and we usually go about 45 minutes. So we're going to spend about 20 minutes right now just talking. And so, you know, I'm always thinking about, hold on, I got to mute this. Okay, good. You know, I'm always thinking about, you know, I'm not a guy that, you know, I know that we talk a lot in this network about to-do lists. What are your daily to-dos? Are you doing the power of 3? How many invites did you send out? And all that stuff. And you need that stuff. You need that stuff, okay? I sometimes go numb with that stuff myself. I sometimes can go numb with that. And so hopefully, you know, and I know some of you can relate to that as well. Because at the end of the day, I truly believe this. I believe that if you can match your heart with your mind, that's when magic happens. That's when you go out and do it. That's my belief. And that's what's worked for me. When my heart was in line with a mission to serve other people, and I think that we have to keep that in mind, is that this is a business of serving other people, okay? And, you know, it's really got me thinking over the course of the last month and coming full circle back to grips with what it is that ignites me, okay? And I can only speak from my own experience, but you know, I'm gonna share a little story. So I always work out better when I have someone locally that kind of comes over and works out, or like we meet up and we work out. Someone who's gonna work out with me at least 3 or 4 times a week or something like that, like a workout buddy, right? We all need a buddy. And so I actually do better in my workouts. There's a couple of things that happen for me when I'm working out live with somebody, even if it's one person or a group of people. And this is what happens to me. One, I'm more likely to show up and press play, right? I'm more likely to actually be there. But 2, while I'm doing it, I'm more likely to push a little bit harder because there's someone else there with me. Someone else there challenging me. Someone else, you know, that is there in the room. And that alone, just the presence of knowing that I'm not alone, is something that makes me go a little bit harder. And so I happen to coach football I coach football in South Florida at a school called St. Thomas Aquinas. And that's also something I take very seriously. There's really 2 things I take seriously outside of my family and my faith. And that's fitness and football, right? I take Beachbody serious, and I take my football coaching seriously. I call it the 4 F's: faith, family, fitness, and football, right? Like those are my 4 F's. And if it's anything else, I probably don't have time for it. You know, I don't have time for it. So here's the thing. I coach football with this guy, Daryl, and he happens to live in the same little gated community that I live in. And Daryl was a 10-year NFL football player. He was a Pro Bowler. He played for the Bengals. He played for the Seahawks. He played for the University of Miami. But he's such a great guy, you know, and he's such a humble guy, and he's a good coach. He's a very good coach. And he doesn't coach. He's not loud, but he's a great coach. And so we went over there and we were talking about setting up these morning workouts and this and that. And we were kind of getting the game plan set for what we were going to do. So I'm over at his house and he says, now listen, he says this to me. He goes, well, why don't we just go take a run tonight? And then tomorrow we can start with the Body Beast stuff, and we'll run a couple times a week and we'll do Body Beast. And so that's going to be our game plan. Well, if you don't know me, you wouldn't know that I actually loathe running. I hate running. Like for me, running I literally would rather stick shards of glass under my fingernails than to go run 3 or 4 miles. I would rather do, I would rather go through a marathon of insanity and do every workout in the program and take 10 hours of insanity than to go run 3 miles in 30 minutes. Does that make sense? Like for me, running is not something that I love to do. But being the good, teammate that I am, I was like, dude, yeah, let's go run. I said, how far do you want to run? He goes, well, I usually go outside the neighborhood and I run around the block. and I said, okay, well, how far is that? He said, it's about 4 miles. All right. Now, for someone who doesn't run a lot, like for someone who runs 4 miles, they can do that, right? For someone like me, Listen, I would rather just lift weights. Like what I love to do is lift weights. What I hate doing, but is running. Well, so I agreed to go take this run. Now understand, I'm not an expert at running. It's not anything that I've done for a long period of time. I haven't practiced running, and he understands this. And so as we're running, there were some things that he did that just helped me get through that and helped me keep pushing and helped me finish and helped me do these things. He just kept saying things like, hey man, just get to this next light. Even though he knew we still had 3 more miles to go, he just wanted me to get to the next light, right? Does that make sense? And so I would get to the next light. And then the next block, he's like, let's get to this next street. And then when we hit the next street, so I'm thinking in my head, okay, I'm going to get to the next street. I'm going to take a break. But when we got to the next street, he says, all right, we're going to pick it up from here to the light. Right? And he got me focused on the next light. And I was like, oh my God. So he starts picking it up. Well, just out of the fact that I didn't want to be embarrassed, I did my best to keep up. Does that make sense? He could also tell, though, that I was getting to a point around 2.5 miles in where I was struggling. And I was wanting to stop, and I was wanting to quit, and I was wanting to not finish, right? And he just kept saying things like, you know what, man, just keep moving. Just keep moving. It's okay, man. Just keep moving. We ain't trying to set records tonight. Let's just keep moving. Just keep moving. And I just kept moving. I kept moving, and things went well. But it got me thinking, and you got to understand something. I have 17 years of experience as a coach, mentoring other people to do well. And when it comes to this business, I need you guys to understand something is that we have a job as coaches, and that job isn't always for us. It's not about what we can do. It's about what we can get other people to do. It's about how well we work with other people. The better we get at working with other people, and I think you need to write that down. The better we get at working with other people, the more success we're going to have in the long run. The better that we can get them focused on that. So I wrote down just a couple things from coaching, because I think that's a word that we have to there's a difference between producing and coaching. And it's one thing to be a great producer, right? To go out there and be a great producer. And I think that as coaches in this business, we do have to go out and produce. It's one of the reasons that I've been in Success Club for 59 straight months. It's one of the reasons I've sponsored 400 personally sponsored coaches over 7 years, right? Is because I know that it's important for me to perform. It's important for me to go out and do the things that I'm asking other people to also do. And I think that we have to have a grip of that. But as coaches, when it comes to our team, and we really lead 2 groups of people, and I want you to write this down. We lead 2 groups of people. We lead our challengers, the people who entrust their fitness with us, the people who entrust their weight loss with us, the people who have made an investment solely based on their need for a fitness, nutrition, and health solution, right? So we lead those people, and many of those people will eventually become our great coaches, right? If we can help them get results. That's the first group we lead. The second group of people that we lead are coaches, right? Right. So there's 2 ways we make money: retailing and team building. Retailing and team building. That's it. And so, but it's more than just the numbers, right? It's more than just getting people to sign on the dotted line. What I really want to talk to you about today is, what is our role after enrollment? How can we get the best out of these people? And I want you to write this down. When I was a young football coach, my mentor, the guy that mentored me in football, and I think it applies here, said this. He said, Tommy, our job as coaches, okay, our job as coaches, and I believe it applies to Beachbody too, is this. And I think that you need to write this down, because this sticks with me. Anytime I work with people, I have to remember this line. It says this: our job as coaches is to get people to achieve a higher level of success than they would achieve solely on their own, right? Solely on their own. And I come back to running, okay? Over the last month, like there's days where I go out in my neighborhood and by myself I'm running, right? By myself I go out and I give my best attempt to run. And I might get, I don't know, a mile in, and then I walk the rest of the way home, right? The fact that Daryl was a good coach to me helped me get further than I would have got on my own. right? And so when we're leading people, I think that we need to keep that at the core of what we're doing is this, that it's not about what I can achieve. It's about what I can help you achieve. It's about how far I can expand your vision for what you're capable of. And one of the first things we have to understand is this, that everybody is human and everybody sort of has this mental stopping point, right? How many of us know that our minds give up long before our bodies will, right? When we're working out, when we're doing anything, that it's our mind that we have to overcome, not our physical body. It's our mind that we have to overcome. And so we have to understand that as humans, you only get so far on your own. Well, if that's true for you, then it's going to be true for the people that you're leading, for the people that you're helping, okay? And so, you know, to just put it simply is this, you know, our job is to help people by putting them in the best situation for success. Right? For the best situation for success. And so I truly believe that if we can all grasp the idea that we're not in this alone, that we're leading other people, and that our job is to help them achieve more than they could by putting them in the best situation for them to succeed, then I think that you have a master. So I wrote down a list of just 10 things that came to mind on how we can do that. And this is based off of me having other people mentor me and knowing when they're getting the best out of me and when they're getting me to achieve more. Does that make sense? And then it's also based on me mentoring other people as well. I mean, you got to understand something. I've mentored thousands of kids when it comes to football. I've mentored thousands, literally thousands of Beachbody coaches, you know. And so I think that some of these things are just some nuggets that I think about when I'm working with people, and that maybe, you know, even if a couple of them stick with you, then I think you'll be better off after tonight's call. But the one thing I've discovered is this. Number one is this: a word of encouragement goes a long way. A word of encouragement goes a long way. See, whether you know this or not, sometimes you believe more in the other person than they currently believe in themselves, and they want, you know, we like to believe what we see, right? As individuals, we believe only what we see or only what we've experienced. And so, especially like when it comes to new coaches, they don't know yet how great they could be because they've never proven it to themselves. We might know that they have potential. See, our job as coaches is to see what their potential is and to help them see that they've been limiting themselves by shooting too low, and to encourage them to start working their way progressively up to their potential. Right? And this works both ways. Now, sometimes you have a coach or a customer who is doubting, right? They're doubting themselves. So that's the first type of person. You have these doubters, and we have to encourage them to believe in themselves a little bit more. We have to encourage them to trust the process. We have to encourage them that they're capable. And that's kind of the first type of person. The second type of person is the know-it-all. The one who thinks they got it made, the one who thinks that they have it mastered, the one who has had some kind of success and thinks that they're already as good as anybody else and they don't have to get any better. And so we have to encourage them to understand that they need to humble themselves a little bit and challenge themselves to go further than they think, because they already think they made the pinnacle. And it's our job to show them, hey, yeah, you climbed that mountain, but I want to encourage you to go climb a bigger mountain. There's a bigger mountain out there waiting for you to conquer. Okay, so a word of encouragement goes a long way. I mean, think about when, you know, guys, it's so funny. You know, I remember when I was running tonight, right? And Daryl simply said, we were halfway in, and I was, man, my legs were burning, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna be able to sit down on the toilet tomorrow. This is ridiculous, right? And Daryl simply said this. He's like, come on, bro, you can do this. Just keep moving. Right? Just keep moving. Sometimes it's the little words of encouragement that get people through their own mental stopping point. Okay? And I know you guys have experienced that in your own life. Number two is this. Get them focused on one landmark at a time, one goal at a time. And just because their current goal that's in front of them isn't maybe as big as the one that you've set for yourself, doesn't mean that it's more minor than the one you set for yourself. The best thing we can do for people is to get them to see the next goal and the next landmark and get them to go achieve that. Once they achieve that next landmark, challenge them to do more. It's just like when I was running, right? And Daryl said, just get to the street. Just get to the next street. So I got to the next street, and then what did he say? Let's pick it up. See, he got me focused on what, now had he said, hey, we're going to run to the street and then we're going to sprint to the stoplight, I probably would have stopped right there because I didn't think I had it in me. I didn't think I had it in me. But he was a smart coach. He was a smart mentor. He was a smart guide along the way. He knew that if he could get me to the street and get me to prove to myself that I could make it to the street, that he could get me to pick it up between the street and the stoplight. You guys understand that? See, I think sometimes when we're working with coaches or we're working with challengers, I think sometimes that we think their level of capability is currently the same level of ours as ours. Well, listen, if you're a new coach, you know what I'm saying. I mean, you haven't been 7 years in. You haven't, earned diamond status yet or 5-star diamond status yet. You don't know that that's possible yet. And if I sit here and try to get you focused on making 5-star diamond and elite, it's going to be overwhelming to you and you're going to stop before you even start. But if I can just get you focused on making Success Club and just get you focused on that landmark and get you to prove to yourself that you're capable, then the sky's the limit, because the next step is to pick it up a little bit. All right, number 3 is this. Help them get through their crap, right? Help them get through their crap. How many of you know that every single human being, including yourselves, comes with a boatload of crap that is caked in your mind and caked in your heart and caked, right? And so we have to encourage, when I say help them get through their crap, I'm not saying for you to be the psychiatrist. I'm not saying for you you alone can't overcome their crap. They have to do it on their own. Our job is to match them with the tools that help them do that. That's called personal development. Encouraging you guys to go to Danny Johnson. See, here's the thing. I know some of you people lack people skills. I know some of you people lack leadership skills. I know some of you people lack work ethic skills and time management skills. And I know that Danny teaches all of that. Well, I could sit here on tonight's call and in 45 minutes try to change your whole world. Or I could simply say, you know what? I encourage you to go to Danny Johnson in Los Angeles. Because I know that once you go there, all that stuff is gonna happen. So helping people get through their crap is this. Sometimes, write this down. Sometimes they need a pat on the back. That's the encouragement part. Sometimes they need what I call, and you got to forgive my language. I told you I'm a football coach. Okay, it's what I call throw the bullshit flag. You got to call people on their crap. You got to call, and their crap comes in the form of excuses. Their crap comes in the form of disappearing, going MIA. And I got to tell you something. And y'all that have been around for 7 years or 5 years or 4 years with me know that there's times when you got to listen. The only reason we have this meeting tonight is because there were people like Danielle Barrera calling me on my crap. I stopped doing these calls for like 6 months. And she called me on my crap, but she had to call me on my crap, I don't know, 18,000 times over those 6 months. Tommy, we need you. Tommy, we need you. Tommy, we need you. Where are you? You disappeared. Stop. Right? But luckily, there was someone like Danielle. I've had Carl Deichler call me on my crap. Okay? So the first step to that is this. You better be willing to call yourself on your own crap and your own excuses and your own mental roadblocks. And you better be willing to invest in yourself with personal development to get through those. And you better be willing to show up even when you don't want to. And you better be willing to be open to other people who are calling you on your crap because they're doing you a favor. They're not just being a jerk. They're not just trying to put it in your face. They're trying to give you a hand and give you the kick in the butt that you need. And trust me, we all need it from time to time. So do your people. There is a place for praise and there is a place for correction. And we have to use both wisely. Okay? Man, I got 10 of these things. We might go a little after 9:40, just so you know. All right? So put the kids to bed, whatever you got to do. We got important stuff to cover here. Number 4, remind them why they started to begin with. Okay? Because here's the thing. The road to success gets tough. It also gets windy. And there was a reason that y'all said yes. When I was running tonight, there was a point where I wanted to stop. Okay? There was a point where I wanted to stop, right? And Daryl said to me, Daryl, my good buddy Daryl, says to me, hey man, you the one that said you wanted to work out tonight. And I know you didn't call me just to stop. Right? He goes, why the hell did you ask me to work out if you ain't gonna do it? I had no choice. He called me on my crap, but he reminded me why I started. Does that make sense? So sometimes people need a little reminder of why they said yes to begin with. And that's one of the reasons why we have to understand their story and understand what it is that drove them to say yes to this to begin with, okay? Number 5 is this. Be in it with them. Be in it with them. And I can't stress this enough, okay? But that's going to require you to get on their level and to not act like you're better than them in any form or facet. All right? Daryl is a better runner than me, right? He's been running. I mean, listen, man, Daryl is like an Adonis of a guy, right? He's one of the best looking black dudes I've ever seen, and that is like a no homo moment right there. But I love him. He's a great dude. I love this guy, okay? And I mean, he's 6'3", 215 pounds, former NFL football player. He runs this track 3 times a week, right? Okay? But you know what he did for me was he said to me, he goes, man, he goes, honestly, I ain't ran in like 3 or 4 weeks, man. I'm probably going to be sucking wind too, so don't worry about it. He got on my level. He didn't act like he was better than me, even though he was, right? And then he said, dude, that's all right, man. We'll just go at your pace, man. I'm just trying to get back into it myself, right? I'm just trying to get back into it myself, okay? He let me know that I wasn't alone. I think that's one of the best things that we can do for people is be in it with them, all right? And here's the other thing is this. He didn't try to get me to sprint at his superstar pace. He actually matched my pace, which brings me back to something that one of my business mentors taught me in this business is this, okay? You have to match their pace. And here's a simple rule for you to follow is this. And this is something that, because a lot of you are like, I just, you know what, I really want to help this person, but they haven't done anything. They haven't, you know, and so I think this is important to remember. You walk, I walk. You run, I run. You disappear, I disappear. You disappear, I'm going to come back no more than 2 times. I'm going to ask you to re-engage. After two times, I'm going to move on. I'm still going to be here when and if you decide to jump on. But you can't, you know, Jim Rohn said it best. It's easier to run with 10 than to drag 100. Okay, but the thing is this, you can't forget about the people. There's people crawling, there's people walking, there's people jogging, there's people sprinting, right? And then there's the dead weight people. Those are the people that aren't even on this call tonight. I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about you. Because if you're on this call, you're at least crawling. You're at least moving forward at some pace in the right direction. That pace might pick up at some point, and maybe you got to crawl at first, right? Does that make sense? But if you're a sprinter, you can't forget about the crawlers and walkers. Everybody understand that, okay? Number 6. And I touched on this already, so I'll cover it quickly, is this. It's not about what you know. It's about what you can get other people to know and do. It's one of the reasons why, listen, I'm a football coach. I mentor these kids. They're 16, 17, 18 years old, right? I've got more experience in the football world than they do. I know way more than they do. If I try to get them to know everything I know on day one, it's never going to happen. I know this, that as long as they show up from the time they're a freshman through the time they're a senior and they continuously plug in and they continuously improve, they continuously put work in, I know that by the time they're a junior or senior, something's going to click. They're going to get bigger. They're going to get stronger. They're going to learn more, right? But I also know this. It's not important how good of a football player I was. I'm not the one that's got to go out there on Friday night and crack some helmets. They do. I'm not the one that's got to block the Mike linebacker who's going to Virginia Tech. They do. Does that make sense? It's the same in our business, okay? It's not about what I know or what I can do. It's about what I can get them to know. It's one of the reasons why what's important is that we follow a simple plan. Start a challenge group, upgrade people to coaches, help people with fitness, take your the people with the best results and put coaching in front of them. Does that make sense? It's a simple system that we can learn. We can write this down. Learn, do, teach, repeat. Learn, do, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing, and some of you are guilty of this. You've done the learning, and you're going out and doing a whole bunch of doing, but you're not doing the teaching. Does that make sense? I'm learning and I'm doing. When I stop there, it means this. I'm a good producer, but I got to tell you this, man. The mission requires us to build a team. The mission requires us to have a marching army of people that are running the steam engine, that are spreading the word. Everybody understand that? So I got to do learn, do, teach, repeat. Go help one person, repeat, and show them how to do the same thing. Number 7 is this. And it's along the same lines as this. Don't forget what it was like to be new and young yourself. Don't forget what it was like to be brand new. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes we make. And I know that we have a lot of coaches that have a year or more of experience. Remember what it was like to be brand new, right? Remember what it was like. Never forget both the nervousness and the excitement of setting your first goal and then going out and making it happen. And understand that our new people have that same nervousness and that same excitement, that they are starting a new endeavor. They're introducing something new into their lives that maybe they haven't been doing before, right? And they need to be applauded for that, because it took a lot of courage and it took a lot of fortitude for them to step up and say, I want to add this extra component. They could rather sit around and watch TV. They could rather sit around and just collect whatever paycheck they're collecting. But no, they made a courageous choice to add a new thing into their life. But don't forget what it was like to be new, and understand that it takes time and investment in new people to get them up to speed. It just does. It was the same for you. Don't forget that. Okay? It took me 2 years to do anything in this business. I thought I was doing it. I was learning and doing. I wasn't teaching. I thought I was doing it. I was a diamond coach. I was making $200-300 a week. It wasn't until 2 years in that I started hitting the gas. So understand, some people it might take a couple months, some people might take a couple years, some people it might never happen. Our job is to stay course, match their pace, keep encouraging them, correct them when they're wrong. Okay? Number 8, challenge them out of their comfort zone. Sometimes you got to get them to take a bite of oh crap. Like seriously. When Daryl looked at me and said, we gonna run, I said, well, Daryl, where are we gonna run? He goes, well, I usually run around the outside of our neighborhood. And I know the outside of our neighborhood, and I know that's 4 miles. And that was my oh crap moment. I was too far in at that point. I wasn't about to walk away and go home. I already told the guy I wanted to work out. Does that make sense? People can get really stuck in comfort zones, and we have to challenge them. First of all, you got to challenge yourself out of your own comfort zone. Again, you can't expect anyone else to do what you're unwilling to do yourself. So the first thing is this: you better be willing to get out of your comfort zone. So if hitting Success Club 5 is comfortable for you, then go for 20. Right? Because here's the thing, and this happens in our network too. A lot of y'all are really comfortable working out because you've been doing it forever. You're good at it. You're already fit. So for you to go crush a 45-minute workout ain't no deal. Does that make sense? And you love it and you enjoy it. Okay? But you have yet to challenge yourself to do something you're not good at, which is go build a friggin' team of people. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? So until you challenge yourself out of your own comfort zone, the rest of it won't happen. Even though I hate running, I'm glad I did it. Even though I'm not good at running, I'm glad I went tonight because it taught me a lot of things about myself. It taught me that I could go farther than I ever would on my own. It taught me that it taught me that I have a lot of my own mental crap that holds me back. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it. But challenge yourself out of your own comfort zone. And because once you do that, once you challenge yourself, you'll understand the importance of getting out of your comfort zone, because you can achieve more. You can do more. And once you discover if that was possible for you, then it's also possible for the next people. It's possible for the other guy. It's possible for the other girl to do the same thing. Number 9, and I already hit on this, praise and correct with the same tone. Praise and correct with the same level of enthusiasm, okay? Which means this, okay? Some people, and listen, I've been around a lot of football coaches. Some coaches are just even no matter what, right? They're just even no matter what, okay? Which means they ain't going to be super hard on you, but they also ain't going to blow sunshine up your tail every 10 seconds, right? Some coaches just want to be the good guy all the friggin' time and just want to praise people all the time, you know? And really what they might need is correction. But if you're gonna, and then some people just want to criticize all the time. None of that works. The only thing that works is when you do both with the same level of enthusiasm, and that you understand the need for both praise and criticism. And number 10 is this: always, always, always schedule the next meeting, schedule the next goal. It's always about what's next. It's always about what's next. It's always about what's next, okay? That's one of the reasons Success Club works as coaches, is because it's a new goal, it's a new month, it's a new start at 0, and it's a new where can I get to by the end of February, by the end of January. Does that make sense? Okay? So always schedule the next meeting. I mean, imagine, you know, like in our football program, if we broke practice and the kid didn't know where to show up to next, you wouldn't get very far. You wouldn't have very many kids there. Okay? So you got to schedule the next meeting. You got to schedule the next appointment. My next meeting with you is going to be the first Monday of February, right? That's when we're going to get back together and we're going to meet and we're going to talk about what happened in January, okay? And my next goal for you is to go finish the month of January as strong as you possibly can. Don't worry about February yet, other than getting your cup team ready. Don't hold back on January just because you're going to be in a cup team. Don't save your points. Don't save your people. Don't play the chicken game, okay? Go out there and have the best month that you can. Go help as many people as you can. Go help hold them accountable. Give them the accountability. Give them the encouragement. Give them the challenge and correction that they need. And I promise you that you, your team, your challengers, everybody that you lead, because you are a leader and you lead people every day, whether you realize that or not. And you lead through your actions and you lead through your words, okay? And so, with that said, guys, that's what I had for you tonight. I don't know what part of that hit you. I don't know what part of that you think you're already doing well and what part you can get better at. But I promise you this. Take the couple of things that really spoke to you tonight and start working on those. Take the couple of things that you know you can get better at. Maybe you need to praise people a little bit more. I can get better at that myself within the team. I can praising one-on-one, praising openly on my public page, doing those sorts of things, okay? Which reminds me of another thing that I learned is this. People want praise for the crap they should do. Well, give it to them. Give it to them. So with that said, guys, listen, I appreciate your time. I know that it's a little past 9:50. I appreciate you spending an extra 5 or 10 minutes with me tonight. I love all of you, man. I'm glad to be in this with you. I'm out there doing the same job that you are each and every single day. Let's keep kicking ass, man, and let's blow the friggin' doors off of 2015. And let's go do it with the heart and passion of serving other people that I know that we have. All right. If we do those things, it's going to be incredible. I'm going to see some of you in Cancun in a couple of months. Bam, high five. Some of you are going to get on the list for the cruise next year. And we're just going to go keep rolling with this thing, man. Let's go crush the last 11, 12 days of this month. Then we'll worry about February. I'll see you the first Monday of February. Talk to you guys later.